All right, so if you have two AgXcel pump systems installed on your toolbar and you have your Raven RCM plugged in, showed up on your display, the next thing to do is to set up the profile for both of those pump systems. So once plugged in, you'll have this new profile that'll show up if you're plugging in your RCM for the first time. Press OK, and then let it load. And then once your machine shows up, your profile name, go ahead and put in whatever you need for a profile name. Your machine type you will set to generic. Generic will give you the proper setup and the proper pinout on the harnessing for a 2-product setup. Go ahead and on the application width, put in the width of your toolbar in feet. In this case, I have a 20-foot toolbar. I'll hit next. Your number of ECUs, this would be your number of RCMs that you would have. I just have one RCM with the level 2 unlock. That gives me my multi-product. My number of products here, I'm gonna go ahead and set that from 1 to 2. If you chose liquid FERT tool before, this will be grayed out because liquid FERT tool can only do a single product. If you choose generic, then your number of products will not be grayed out and you can adjust that to the actual number of products that you have. Also, if you don't have a level 2 unlock, if you only have a level 0 unlock, level 0 only does a single product, level 2 does a multi-product. So you make sure that you have the right unlock code as well. From there, you can press next. RPM spinners will be set to 0. Hit next. Application type for both will be set to liquid. You'll hit next. Product 1 will be set as liquid. Then it'll ask for product 2. Again, set as liquid. Your aux-in, do not check. You'll press next. This will talk about setting up your section groups. This is just an example page. It'll ask you, are the section drivers shared between each product? You will hit no. Number of section groups, that will be for the number of products, have 2. Master clutch will not be checked. Press next. This would be an example for the next page that you would run into. Starting number of sections, have that set to 1 for your product 1. For your product 2, set that to 9. That will represent the pin that you would start off with. Number of sections for product 1. Let's say I have 2 sections. Number of sections for product 2. Let's say I also have 2 sections on that. You would check the equal section width box if you have an equal number of sections per product, or if the width between each section is equal. So say if you're on a stacker planner, if you have 6 rows on the bottom, 3 rows on each wing, and if that's how my sections are set up as well, then I would not check that box, and from there I can set the actual width per each section. In this case, I have 2 sections. They're both 10 foot per section, so I'll go ahead and just leave that checked. I'll press next. And then your section groups would be correct here. Product 1 gets section group 1, product 2 gets section group 2. You'll press next. And then this would be setting your width per section. So product 1 over here for section 1 and 2, and then it's starting on pin 9 for my product 2, so section 1, section 2. I'll hit next. Your auxiliary drivers, you'll likely have that set to none. So you can just skip that. This will give you the setup of your sections, a summary. Scale setup would be none. If you were to have a pressure transducer, you can choose custom for the AgXcel pressure transducer. 1 and 2 will be for product 1, 3 and 4 will be for product 2. Hit next. Pressure sensor 1 for product 1. Pressure sensor 3 for product 2. And then here you can set your minimums and maximums. So 0 PSI, I'll max at 100. And if you want to set an alarm for each product, so if you were to go outside the threshold, you can set that. And these are just thresholds that you can set at whatever. Our pressure transducer is rated for up to 100 PSI. So that's just where I want to keep my pressure transducer at. I'll hit next. Height switch, if you're using an AgXcel height switch, you will check digital NPN. In this case, I do not have a height switch set up. So I'm just going to set that to none. And then your product one, this is where you get to your PWM setup. All AgXcel pump systems use a PWM driver. So your control valve type, you will need to set to PWM close. Valve response rate here. Refer to your manual to see for which pump system you have what that should be. In this case, I'm going to have it set to 100 for my pump system. Control deadband will be 2% for all of our pumps. And then valve delay I'll have to 0. Enable PWM Smart Control, I am not going to check that box. I'll hit next. Coil frequency for AgXcel pumps, put that at 100. Your PWM high limit, go ahead and set that to 100. That just allows the controller to run the pump at the highest duty cycle possible if needed. Go into the PWM low limit. Usually 10% is a good value to set that at. That just won't allow the pump to go below a 10% duty cycle. That also helps with starting up the pump system as well. Your PWM startup, this number can vary. If you're doing high rate nitrogen, maybe you set that to 20%, 25%. In this case, I'm just doing an in-furrow for the product one. So I'm gonna set that to 10% so I don't overshoot my target and then come back to rate. I can just quickly get to my target rate. I'll press next. My flow meter calibration number, refer to the sticker that was included on the manual that came with the pump system. The serial number is also located on that. From there, you can put in the flow calibration number for your flow meter. For this flow meter, it is a 11355 calibration number. Your flow meter units, you will want to set to gallon, just GAL. Your product one, your tank sensor level, if you don't have that, set it to none. Tank capacity, go ahead and put in your tank capacity there. The current level of that tank. If you want an alarm when the tank gets to a lower level, you can set that. You can enable an alarm. I'll hit next. These preset rate values on the top right of the screen, it allows you to quickly switch between different flow rates that you might want to do. So I'm normally doing 5 gallon per acre. I'm just going to leave it that, but maybe sometimes I need to switch down to 3 gallons per acre depending on what side of the field I'm on. So I'm going to adjust that. This rate bump, there's an arrow I can press to raise and lower my rate. If I'm doing nitrogen, maybe I want to, every time I press that arrow, maybe I want to change my rate in 5 gallon increments. If I'm doing in-furrow, maybe I want to change it in half a gallon or 1 gallon increments. I'm just going to put a 1 in there. Rate selection will be predefined. Display smoothing, make sure that's checked. And decimal shift, I normally like to leave that at 2. You can see how it just changes the value that you can see after the decimal. So if you want that lower or higher, you can adjust that as you need. Off rate alarm, if I'm off by 20% or whatever value I want to put in there, if the alarm is enabled, I'll get an alarm. I'll press next. Then it'll load me to my product 2. So in this case, PWM close, AgXcel just uses PWM drivers. Valve response rate, let's say for this pump, maybe it's set to 80. Control deadband will be at 2. It's with that with all AgXcel pumps. Valve delay again is at 0. And the PWM Smart Control box is not checked. Coil frequency will be at 100, high limit at 100. Low limit, let's say on this system, maybe I want to set to 20. And then a PWM startup, I'm just going to have that jump to 20% as well. I'll press next. Flow meter calibration, after I look at my manual for the pump system, I see my flow meter cal number should be 4542. So I will enter that. Flow meter units should be set to gallon. Same thing as product 1, my tank fill level, I don't have that. My tank capacity here, I'm going to put in the capacity of my tank, the current level of the tank. I want to be alarmed when there's only 100 gallons left. I can enable that alarm if I want. Here I can have my preset rates so I can quickly change my rates. Here I want 30 gallon, maybe here I want a 40 gallon, and then here I want 55 gallons. Rate bump, maybe I want to do it in 5 gallons per acre. My rate selection will be as predefined. Display smoothing will be checked. Decimal shift, maybe here I only want at 0, so I don't have a decimal. I'll press next. I want to be alarmed if I'm 20% off of my rate. It'll give you the setup. And then your profile is now set up. From here, we can go and calibrate the pressure transducers once our next page loads. All right, from here it's telling me I just need to set up my pressure transducers. So from here I'll go to pressure sensor setup. I will hit my calibrate pressure sensor. I can choose my first product, do it by voltage based at 50 millivolts. Make sure that you don't have any pressure on the pump system. If you calibrate it with pressure on that transducer, it won't be calibrated right. It won't read your pressure right. So make sure you have 0 pressure in the system. Set to 50. Now I need to calibrate my next pressure sensor. I'm going to select my third, voltage based at 50. Hit accept. Now my pressure transducers are properly set up. Another setting you might need to adjust as well is your PIDS settings. So right up here where you see that wrench and screwdriver, press and hold on that for about 10 seconds. You'll see an advanced tuning option show up. You can hit that advanced tuning. Refer to your manual for the numbers that you might need as well. Up here you can switch between product 1 and product 2. Usually if your pump is constantly surging, check our troubleshooting videos as well. But no matter whatever PWM settings you change, if your pump is always surging up and down, then what you can do is change these values. Usually P is at 1, I is at 50, D is at 5, S could be at 1, but these values could be different for you. Depending on your setup, you might need to adjust them. If you don't know exactly what each value does, there's this question mark up here, and then it'll explain how these all work with each other. So that was just my product 1 I changed. Now I need to change my product 2. There we go. And then I'll go back to my home page here. Now if I want to run the pump system while I'm sitting still, a couple different ways I can do it. Since my mile per hour is right here, I can tap on that. I can put in my test speed. I'm just going to test at 5 miles. You can also hit your gears here on the right side. Hit your tractor icon on top. Down here it says test speed. You can put in your 5 miles. Go back to your home page. Right here is product 2, product 1. So I have product 2 selected. I'm going to hit product 1. Now it shows product 1. I can see my 5 gallons per acre. Then from here I can just switch between both my products real quick. You always have a soft key for your master, so my product 1 is enabled. Go down here to my product 2. Right now it is not enabled, so if I only want to run product 1, I can just not enable product 2. I'm going to go back to my product 1. Then I can hit my foot switch down here. And then that pump system will be running.